And you're listening to The Pit, Sports Talk here on 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills. I'm Damien Dennis, your usual host here on The Pit, and we have a great show for you today. It's going to be huge. We got a 2-hour special. I got Timothy Pontzer in studio with me again today, Austin Puckett. We're going to be talking just a ton of sports. But to start the show, I've got a special interview from a buddy of mine. He came in last week after the show to talk a little skating and filming, basically. So we're going to play that interview here for you in a quick minute, but just a quick rundown of the show this week. We've got Brad Jeffers, who's a finalist for the MLB FanCave, coming in at 4:30. We've got Frank Madiak and Billy Ballant from the Oakland men's hockey team coming in at 5. We've got Carmen Hayes coming in at 5:30 to talk health, fitness, probably tell some stories. And we're also going to add some Michigan State basketball, probably some Michigan basketball, because you know how Tim and Austin like to go at it between that rivalry there. We're going to have some baseball talk. At the end of the show, we're going to talk about our 5 top QBs from this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm going to start that interview here for you now. And you're listening to The Pit here on 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills. The normal host of this show, unlike last week where I let it get taken over by my colleagues Tim Pontzer and Austin Puckett.
Boo.
That voice back from the home swamps, let's say, of Algonac, Michigan. He's a skater, a little skater punk, and a filmmaker. His name's Aaron Pfeiffer. How are you doing, Aaron?
Doing good.
Yeah, so you came all the way out to OU today, and you know, this is quite a drive. I remember I lived on campus a couple of years ago. It's a good 40-minute drive if the weather's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We drove a car.
Yeah. So really funny guy. He's over here laughing. He can't control himself. So we're going to talk about your skating and your films, all right?
All right.
So you've been a skater for how long now?
Oh, man. Maybe 10 years.
10 years? You're what, about 19 now, 20? You've been skating?
19, yeah.
Yeah, so you've been skating since you were 9 years old.
Yep.
How'd you get into it?
Through my older brother and his friends. I saw them do it, and then he had this VHS tape called Punk Cinema Beer Goggles. And there was a video of NoFX and Guttermouth and bands like that, and they had skating in their videos, and it looked so cool.
I love the name of that VHS. I mean, that sounds like a story I would tell on this show.
It's a great series. You guys should buy the tapes on Amazon. Support punk rock.
Oh, definitely going to. I mean, that title alone has me sold. So, you've been skating for 10 years now. You've been working at it. You're actually pretty damn good. You know, earlier today I was watching a video. You actually sent me the video, and it was pretty good. You, some other kids from Algonac, you're all skating. You're all far better than I ever was. That's for damn sure. So, just how have you advanced your craft there? How have you gotten to a level above, you know, other people around you?
I just do it every day, and I don't do it for any reason other than I want to get better, and I want to be better than everybody else because I'm a jerk. I just want to progress, learn new stuff, learn all of it.
Yeah. So, what has been the most difficult thing you've had to learn to become a successful skater as you are?
Oh, maybe to be where I'm at today. Just I guess I'd have to be more open-minded. My friends will tell me, "Oh, you should do this. You can do that," and I'm like, "I can't do that, but I can if I just try." And I don't know. You can't really listen to the negative things other people say. Like, there's the older dudes, and they're always saying stuff. And
nice.
Like, I'm better than you now, dude. Like, you ain't got nothing.
You ain't got nothing on me, right? I like that, and I like how you almost swore there and you saved yourself. That was nice. So, now I've seen you in a position where you've gotten hurt quite a few times.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. I remember this one guy looked down at you and just asked if you were all right. You're laying on the ground holding your wrist.
He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No." Yeah, I was like, no. And he's like,
Actually, you know what? I've mentioned him on the show before. He's my buddy Patrick Smith. He's currently in the Army out there in Hawaii. You know, he was supposed to call in for the Pro Bowl. He never got around to it. Poor guy. He's a busy guy.
yeah, he was there though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there. So let's talk about your films real quick. You know, I mean, they're just YouTube videos right now. You promote them on your Hungry Killer Spoon channel.
Hungry Killer Spoon, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great YouTube channel, by the way. Yeah, how many videos do you have on there?
Oh, like 54.
54.
That's
Wow.
the number.
How many like video views do you have? Do you know?
Oh, like altogether, I think like 7,000. So it's still fairly small. It's just my friends from Algonac that watch ourselves.
Yeah, well, this is what you're doing for now. We're gonna try and promote it a little bit here on this show.
That'd be cool.
You know, try and get you some more views. See if we can't make you famous.
Yeah,
Or
right.
or let's get you some face or YouTube famous. You know.
Add me on Facebook.
Yeah. This is just like a party in here right now. So, tell us how you got into the filmmaking aspect.
It came naturally. We see how everybody else is just filming themselves, and we'd watch the pros and their videos, and it was like, well, we're missing a huge thing here if we don't do what they do and just film. So I went to Rite Aid. I bought one of their cheap little like $20 cameras, and we'd film with that. And the only way you could watch it is if like you deleted the clips or you brought it to Rite Aid. So we never even did anything with that. It's just floating around my house with dead AA batteries.
Nice. And since you started with such a cheap little camera, you have more professional equipment now, or better equipment at least?
Yeah, I think in 2009 we went and me and my dad bought a JVC, and actually I was saving up money before that to buy a video camera, and I got arrested for wearing a "No Dogs Allowed" sign that picked off some wall, and I got a ticket, and I was being such a punk that they gave me $100 ticket. Like, he'd ask me like, "What color are your eyes?" I'm like, "I can't see them," and I was just being a brat.
I got a story here for our listeners. They know I love to tell stories. Remember this one time we went to go see a friend in Harson's Island. We were skating over there,
Yeah.
and we're leaving, and this cop stops us. He pretty much
he blinds us.
Yeah. He shines a spotlight in our eyes, but we'll get to that because at first he
drugs.
no. I mean, we're disappointed now. Or just usage on the island at the time.
Remember, we found none.
Yeah. As far as I can say for Aaron right now, because we're skating on the island. It's like after 9 or 10 at night. It's dark out. Cop stops us. He shines a spotlight right in our eyes. And he's like, "What are you guys doing out here?" And we're like, skating, and we went to go see a friend. And the cop asked me if I thought it was smart to be wearing all black, and I'm like,
A car, bright lights in the middle of the night.
Yeah. You said that to him, and I'm like, well, if I get hit by somebody, that's just one less stupid person in the world now, isn't it? Aliens. And pretty much he just got
We found no drugs, by the way.
story. You know, he shines his spotlight up into the sky, basically looking for aliens, according to you anyway. You know, just from there, I guess we made him mad because he just drove off and told us to be safe. And
I've got so many stories of just cops being smart people. Like, there was one time, we have a skate park and they closed it. No reason, and it was closed for a few weeks, and me and my buddy, we hopped the fence to play skateboards in a skateboard playground, and the cops rolled by and they're like, "What are you doing there? It's closed." And my friend goes, "We just wanted to get a couple tricks." And he's like, "Well, you can trick your butt right back over this fence." And you could tell the cop was like, "Yeah, I won that. That was awesome of me."
That's just a crazy story there.
Oh, they're friends.
They're friends.
We get along.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of stories, like skating, cops, a bunch of shenanigans.
Hijinks.
Hijinks, yeah. So, let's see. you know, you're a skater. Let's go back to this. We got off on a tangent there with stories. Construction, meaning you make a lot of ramps. I know you skate in garages and stuff.
I have a garage just full of ramps. It's my dad's garage, and we're always building more and more stuff, and he's got less and less room to use it. But he's the one that builds it, so he can't complain.
Yeah. So, does he make all of them for you, or do you make any?
Me and him work together because he can build anything out of anything, so...
All right. So if you had, like, let's say, a bunch of couches, he could make, chapstick.
Yeah, he's in the chapstick business. You can't follow him on Twitter, but...
So many, like, old stories coming out here.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy. So, all right, we only got a couple more minutes left. You know, what's been some of your favorite memories as a skater, a filmmaker, just as a person in general?
That's a tough one. Just filming with my friends. There's times where we'll sit at the skate park and the sun will just be going down and we'll just be sitting there just laughing at everything, no matter how unfunny it is. Like, there's this kid called Snoodles. For a whole day, no, for a whole week, maybe even a month, we just find random stupid S words to call him. Like, we started calling him seatbelt and Snickers, and that's pretty cool. Or we filmed this full video called Yeah, that's just the name of the video, because in every single clip someone would land something and one of us would just be like, yeah, so it just made sense to call it that. And when you watch, just looking back on that, those are fun times because we were all young and we had no responsibilities, so we just go around and film and break stuff. I don't know, all of it. It's all good.
So destructive. We here at the Pit Sports Talk and WXOU do not encourage you breaking stuff, but shenanigans.
Not your own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, break your friend's stuff. Let's do that. If you got to break anything, break your friend's stuff. We're running out of time.
Yep.
YouTube channel, Hungry Killer Spoon.
Hungry Killer Spoon.
Best name ever. I've been wondering that for a while.
I don't know. I was just sitting around. I had to make a YouTube account because everybody on there is really stupid. You'll see it. And
let me guess. You were probably listening to a band or a song that had something about killing in it. You were hungry, and you had a spoon in front of you.
I think it was influenced by an AFI song or something. I was just like, hungry, killer, spoon.
Nice.
That's pretty crafty.
That's probably the best YouTube channel ever. I mean, straight up. I've not heard anything more clever than that or seen anything more clever on YouTube.
Thanks. Yeah. If you do look up our video for green screening. It was just an attempt, but it's a green screen. When we were just standing in front of it, we had no idea what was going to be in the background. And it's just a girl just shaking her ass, just booty clapping, while we're just standing there with dumb looks on our faces.
That is...
So if you don't care about skating, you might laugh at that.
That's pretty good. All right, so you heard it from the man himself, Aaron Pfeiffer, skater from Algonac. Irritating, funny, green screen video. Check him out on YouTube, Hungry Killer Spoon. You're listening to 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills. This is the Pit Sports Talk with Damien Dennis. And welcome back. You just heard that pre-recorded masterpiece from last week that had a lot of glitches in it that I actually fixed right before we went on the air. And I want to clarify the story we were trying to tell that has a lot cut out of it. So this one time, me and Pfeiffer were skating on Harson's Island in Algonac. We went to go see a friend of mine. And what happened is, we were only there for like an hour. It was nighttime. We're wearing dark clothing, whatever. But we're skating back towards the ferry to get back to the mainland. And what ends up happening is a cop stops us and asks us what we're doing. Because apparently he thought we were buying drugs or something, which, kind of threw us off because neither of us do drugs or have ever wanted to or anything like that. I mean, obviously a cop's not going to know, but still, it was just irritating. But this cop stops us and starts basically harassing us. He shines a spotlight in our face and everything. And what he did was, first he asked me if I thought it was smart to be wearing dark clothing at like 11 at night, skating on an island that had no lights. And I looked at him and I'm just like, well, if I get hit by a car, there's just one less stupid person in the world now, isn't it? And he got mad and just, for some reason, took his spotlight and shined it up into the air. So Pfeiffer's like, what, you looking for aliens? And he brings the spotlight back down straight into Pfeiffer's face and he's like, what'd you say? And Pfeiffer's like, are you looking for aliens? I mean, you shine your spotlight up in the sky. I'm assuming you're looking for aliens. And the cop told us to just be safe and not be smartasses and drove off. And we're just laughing like, wow, that was a waste of 10 minutes. Ugh. You're listening to 88.3 FM WXOU Auburn Hills. This is the Pit Sports Talk with Damien Dennis. Got Austin Puckett in here right now. Going to talk a little bit Michigan State basketball. Get it? Yeah.
All right. Well, I went to the game last night. We saw the Michigan State Spartans go against the Wisconsin Badgers. State won the game 69-55. It really wasn't even as close as the score said it was. State at one point led by 20 points, and they kind of let the Badgers back into the game. They ended up taking control of it, though, and putting it away. The Spartans were led by 20 points from both Draymond Green and from Keith Appling. Wisconsin was led by Ryan Evans, and he led them with 17 points. I was really impressed with the play of Michigan State last night. They really took control of the game in the way that they ran the floor. They have the uniqueness that many Big Ten teams don't have in that they can run the floor and they can play a half-court offense. Most Big Ten teams like to slow it down, play tough, play good D, which State can do, but they can also run the floor, and that really leads into what I think they're going to have a lot of success in the NCAA tournament.
Now, you mentioned something about them being seeded in that tournament. Where do you think they're going to be placed?
A lot of it depends on what they do in the Big Ten tournament. I think that right now they're at the top of the Big Ten. They're tied with Ohio State at 10-3, I believe, in the Big Ten Conference. They're 21-5 overall. Ohio State has a little bit better record, I think, due to they didn't play as strong of a schedule as State did. State played both Duke and North Carolina. I think Ohio State played Duke and actually beat them. But State lost to Duke and both North Carolina as well.
Yeah.
Michigan State plays Ohio State one more time, the last game of the season. They already beat them once on Ohio State's home floor, which is probably one of the most impressive wins in the last 5 years for the Spartans.
Absolutely.
And
this Ohio State team's been pretty good over the last few years, too.
Very good.
I mean, didn't they make it to the Final Four last year? Or no? It
was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Michigan State, I really think that State has a good chance at getting back to the Final Four this year after, the back-to-back years a couple years ago. But I think that if Michigan State plays well in the Big Ten tournament and they get to the finals, and whether they win or not, I think if they get to the finals, they have a really good shot at a 1 seed.
Now, Garrett Elliott, he's the host of the Red Zone here on WXOU. He tweeted last night that yes, it was an impressive win for Michigan State, but all the hype for both Michigan and Michigan State needs to die down because these teams are not going to make it to the Final Four. And I do agree with them, but I do think both teams are playing good. I mean, we were talking about at my internship how for the first time ever, both Michigan and Michigan State in both terms of basketball and football, the other school, like the one that's the powerhouse, like Michigan in football, for example, is happy that Michigan State's finally good in football because it gives them a challenge and it renews the rivalry. Just like in basketball, Michigan State, who's always been good in basketball, is happy that Michigan's finally good in basketball. But are they good enough to, either of them, are they good enough to get to the Final Four this year?
Like I said before, I think that Michigan State has a good chance because they can play basketball in so many different ways. I mean, basketball is a unique game, and the way that you play determines whether you win or not. And like the different conferences, you can see it in football as well. You have the SEC, which is all about speed. The Pac-10 is all about finesse. Big Ten, you run the football. It's in football. That's what you do. In basketball, it's almost similar, and the SEC is quick. You have Kentucky, who's running the floor the whole time. They're going to put up, 80, 90 points, much like OU. And then you have the Big Ten, where you have a game like Michigan State and Illinois wins the game 42-41. And, people look at that and go, that's not real basketball, but that's Big Ten basketball. And I just think that Michigan State can run the floor with people and they can slow it down. So really, if they can establish the pace that they want to play, they can go real far in the tournament. Michigan's a little bit different in that Michigan likes to live and die by the three. They shoot the three, and if it goes in, they're going to win the game. Much when Michigan played OU, that's what happened. OU put up a ton of points on. I don't remember what the score was exactly, but they put up a bunch of points on them, which they do on most teams.
The score was 90-80.
Okay, 90-80. That's crazy. If you let up 80 points in the NCAA tournament, you're done. There's no way you win the game.
Now, you mentioned OU there, and I want to talk a little bit Oakland basketball here for a minute, and finally it looks like Tim Pontzer is actually going to walk in finally,
Hey,
which
nice
is
to see ya.
perfect timing so we can get through some Oakland basketball with the expert.
I was actually going to ask for like 20 more minutes.
No, get in here real quick and talk some basketball. Just real quick. So, Oakland played Southern Utah the other day. Senior night here at Athletic Center Arena. They beat them in overtime, 76-68.
They did. Reggie Hamilton's last game, also the last game for Laval Lucas Perry. It was Oakland blew a 12-point lead in the second half. They let him come back, and Reggie had a chance there at the end. I mean, you could tell he was definitely, it was his last game. He was playing with a lot of emotion. He had a foul called on him on a 3-point attempt where he hit the guy's arm. So they took 3 shots and made them all under pressure with about 3 seconds left. And then Reggie had a chance. He flew down the court and had a pull-up jumper from about like 20 feet out, and it went in and out. It would have been a storybook ending to his career here at the arena. But fortunately, Oakland scored him, I think, like 12-4 in the overtime and got the win. A big part of that was that Southern Utah center went down with a right knee injury late in the regulation, and they definitely missed him inside. He was their top scorer.
That's a great ending to a career for Reggie Hamilton here at Oakland, at least playing in terms of at
absolutely.
home.
I mean, he scores 30, and on senior night, though, sophomore Travis Bader definitely stepped up.
Oh, yeah,
he
he
had
did.
18 points in the first half. He finished, I think, with 28. He had like 6 3-pointers. He was definitely feeling it that night, and he was the hot hand for a while. And it was interesting. It was the first time this season in the NCAA that you've had 4 starters that did not account for a basket in the entire game.
Yep.
And Drew Valentine played he played 45 minutes or whatever, and he did not score 1 basket. It's the most in the NCAA this season.
That was a great game Wednesday night. I did not get to go, and I feel a little bit kind of cheated out of that opportunity, but I had to work and stuff, and bills to pay. But that was a great game, and this week, not even the game itself, this week leading up into it, for example, the sports editor, Kevin Romanchik of the Oakland Post, wrote that fantastic article.
Center spread, yeah.
Yeah, on Reggie Hamilton. We had something in there by Brian Everson, who actually mentioned Lucas Laval Perry.
Yeah.
It was just...
Well, Lucas Perry doesn't get
whatever.
He doesn't even start as much.
I got it wrong.
Interesting. He only got to play here for a year, but he's definitely a hard worker. Campy pointed that out after the game.
Yeah.
He originally went to Arizona, then he transferred to Michigan, then he played here at OU. And he only having 1 season is tough when you come in and you have to adapt to 3 different systems. Yeah. And he definitely he's a big part of their success this season.
These guys have just gotten a lot of love this week and all season, all year.
Well, they definitely deserve it, especially Reggie. Reggie is currently the leading scorer in the NCAA in points per game and total points. Yep. And he's a big part of the reason that OU is where it's at.
Isn't Reggie Hamilton the leading scorer in the nation right now?
He is in Division I.
Didn't we talk about this yesterday? Wasn't it by point
he
1?
Was. He's been second for 2 weeks now, and there's a guy out of Weber State who was a couple percentage points above him. But he had a couple bad games, and Reggie, coming off his 30-point game on Wednesday, he is now in first place. Yeah, all right. And they're doing the Bracket Buster on tomorrow, right? They did. They left this morning about 6:30. They flew out. They flew to Chicago at 8:30, and then they had a 2-hour bus ride to Illinois State instead of taking a 7-hour bus ride. Campy put that at the last minute. This game really doesn't mean anything for OU. It can mean something for Illinois State, but in terms of, they obviously want the win. You want to finish with a winning record. But those games against UMKC and South Dakota to finish out the season will have a much greater bearing on their tournament seed, obviously. And those, I don't want to say easy wins, but those should be, they're not guaranteed, but they should be wins that Oakland should be able to get. The UMKC game should definitely be a win, I would think. UMKC is one of the worst teams in the conference. But then the South Dakota game, having to go to South Dakota is tough on them once in a while, but I think that they should get the win. But at this point, is OU's really out of a at-large bid, right? I mean, absolutely. They have to win their tournament. Absolutely. They, right now, they can get the 3rd seed going into the tournament. There's a tiebreaker right now. Currently, they have the 4th. You would have Oral Roberts, then you would have South Dakota State, and then hopefully Oakland. And it's a big thing for them because, just last week they were looking at maybe having the 6th seed. And, in 2005 they went all the way as the 7th seed in the tournament. So Campy has done this before, and they definitely have the scores to do it. They need to have the defense to back it up as well.
Do you think that we talked about this off the air before, but do you think that if OU wins the tournament and gets into the NCAA tournament, do you think they get in the 12-5 play-in game?
They could. It depends. That's right now. I was looking at some of the mock listings for it, and they had South Dakota State as winning our conference. That's who they thought would win the tournament, and they had them as ranked as like the 55th best team out of 68.
Right.
So you're looking at probably like a 13 or 12. But also when the committee picks those seeds, they look at past performances in the tournament, and OU has slowly crept up. They were, they had a play-in game their first time in 2005. Then you have a 15 seed and a 14 seed. So if they could move up to that 12-5 matchup, they could get an upset there.
The thing with Oakland is they always give whoever they're facing, whether it be an in-conference rival or even in the tournament, they always give the team they're facing a real challenge.
Oh, absolutely. It all starts with Reggie Hamilton. He is the leader of that team.
Now, I want to say something on Reggie because I know Austin has something to say. Then we got to get to a break. But I guess today it came out. It's on GoldenGrizzlies.com that Reggie Hamilton was selected as a nominee for the 2012 Lou Henson Award by CollegeInsider.com and .3 Basketball. And he's one of 25 people chosen for that award.
Well, absolutely. When you're the leading scorer in the nation, you're going to get some recognition, and he deserves it.
According to this article, it says that Reggie currently leads the nation in scoring at 24.78 points, just ahead of Weber State's Damian Lillard.
Right.
So,
well, and that's an award for a mid-major player, but he definitely could shine in the tournament. If they made the tournament, you look at a player like a Stephon Curry that can lead a small mid-major team and can score, and that's where he would make a name for himself, and then they possibly get an invite to a camp or even drafted late in the second round.
Yep.
But it all starts with Hamilton, and he has shown that, yes, the argument against him is he's putting up these points against players that, aren't as top level as some of the bigger conferences. But, when he plays on the bigger stages, he dropped 35 against Tennessee and that game that was nationally televised here. He scores 28 against Michigan. He knows how to step up against those big games. But we'll see. They need to finish out the season strong, and they need to obviously win the tournament.
I think when you look at the committee for the NCAA tournament, when they pick the teams, they seed based on several things. I think one of them is star player.
Absolutely.
And if you have Oakland and they have Reggie Hamilton, he's willing to put up all those points, and he's the leading scorer in the nation. That's a great storyline for a game that may not get as many views. But if you advertise that, it's going to get more views, and the committee's going to want him to be in that game.
Absolutely.
He's a star player out of Chicago, and hopefully he can draw that attention, and then we can get in the tournament.
Yep. Now, we're about to go to break.
All right.
I want to know what you're doing over next door in the post office, just so we have a
damn
good reason why you're not in here right now.
I'm writing a preview for the upcoming golf season. I have interviews with the golf coach, Russ Cunningham, and then a couple of the players, and I'm almost done. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Be back in here at 5. Interview the Oakland hockey team. We got Brad Jeffers, MLB FanCave guy. He's an Oakland alum. He's coming up here after the break. We're gonna have Carmen electrifying Hayes in about an hour. Yeah, he's just going by that name right now, and I don't know why. It's just so funny. But we've got a huge show. We still got an hour and a half left. Way to go, Tom! Ow, he just deafened all of us in here. So we've got just a huge show still lined up for you. MLB FanCave next after the break. Austin has something he wants to add real quick.
All right, I know we already finished talking about Michigan State, but I just wanted to add one more thing that I forgot to say.
All right.
When you look at Final Four teams, they have certain characteristics every single year. One of them is depth in the front court. You have, and Michigan State has that with Nix, Draymond Green, and Adrian Payne. You look at a dominant guard. I think that Keith Appling has that ability to do that. And then also you look at great coaching. Tom Izzo is a great coach, a fantastic coach. And I think that if you put all those factors together, Michigan State has the chance to go to a Final Four.
I love how you just want to get a last word in there for the Spartans.
Do it.
All right, we're going to go to a break. You're listening to The Pit Sports Talk with Damien Dennis, Austin Puckett. Tim Pontzer whenever he gets back. I almost called him Tom. We'll be back here in a minute on the Pit Sports Talk on 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills.
It's a period of change in Major League Baseball. Baseball fans from across the country are willing to leave their states in hope of the dream to be selected to be chosen as baseball's ultimate fan. During these times, many have applied, but few have been selected. But now, at 25 years old, one fan has decided to leave his home in Macomb, Michigan, to show Major League Baseball how much this opportunity means to him. A season ticket holder for the Detroit Tigers, as well as a dollar store manager, he has set out for a new challenge and to show baseball fans across the country that he can entertain at the highest level, the MLB FanCave. Baseball fans have waited years to meet Brad Jeffers, and now he is ready to showcase his talents with the world, while the hopes and dreams of his family and friends look to Brad to fulfill his destiny. Feeling the burn.
You ready for the real one?
What do you mean the real one?
All right.
Son of a... Ah! What do you mean this one only weighs 20 pounds?
Give me 1 minute, guys.
Okay, so I may not be in the best shape ever, but I'm as ready now as I'm ever going to be. So hopefully you guys will choose me, Brad Jeffers, to be part of the 2012 MLB FanCave, and I hope to see you guys out in New York. Thanks again for watching.
And you heard that there. That's Brad Jeffers from the MLB FanCave. He's one of 50 finalists for this competition of what, like 2,200?
22,000 people actually
Wow.
applied this year. Last year was 10,000. This year we had a whopping 22,000 people, and I am one of the lucky 50 finalists.
We have Brad Jeffers in studio, too.
Yes,
how do you
sir.
guys like that? And still joined by Austin Puckett.
Obviously.
Yeah, because Pontzer's next door being a tool
Yes,
bag.
He is being that.
So you're gonna tell us what MLB FanCave is. We're gonna
Sure.
talk some baseball. We're gonna talk this video that actually starts off with a sweet Star Wars theme, which I wish you would have contacted me before last week's show, because it was like perfect. Because last week we started every segment with Star Wars music, and we were just too nerdy last
Geeking
week.
out.
Yeah, we were geeking out. So we've got you in here. I have no idea what FanCave is. I know I've heard of it. What is it exactly?
Oh, I'd be honored to tell you. Basically how it worked last year, they picked 2 guys out of about 10,000 people that applied. They fly you out to Major League Baseball. You watch every game. You blog about it, do video blogs. You're doing promotional work for Major League Baseball. Basically, they're willing to hire me to watch every single baseball game and to interact with fans and share the experience. In 2012, they're doing something a little bit different. They're actually making it almost like a mix between Big Brother / Survivor and baseball. So it's like part reality game show, part baseball, all awesome. Like, it's bringing it all together so that way fans can interact, who they want to see, who they don't, and basically the whole goal is at the end of the year, right before the World Series, to determine who is baseball's most entertaining fan in the country.
I love that. And what do you get if you win? Like, what?
Well, the whole thing is basically they fly us out to New York. They got a place in Manhattan that you fly there, you live there for the entire year, you get to interact with Major League Baseball players, past and present, Hall of Famers, celebrities. They had concerts in-house, and basically you're a host of this building, which is phenomenal.
You're
Check
the
it out.
host.
Well, yeah, potentially, yeah, that's what we're hoping. And it basically, this whole building, you can check it out at MLBFancave.com. They have pictures of the place, as well as an opportunity to vote. And they even had like in-house concerts. It's an interactive museum where they're bringing baseball to the fans and the fans to baseball. It's really the first thing in the major professional sports industry to really kind of grasp the social media network and make it interactive for fans. And it's really a cool experience to be part of so far.
That That sounds like just epic. You know,
It really is.
I mean, wow. It sounds like an awesome opportunity. You know, it just sounds like a lot of fun to me.
You know, it's crazy too because I grew up in Michigan. I've been in Michigan my whole life. I went to Oakland University, got my degree in journalism here, hoping to one day get a chance to get in broadcasting, get into sports. So here I am now, you know, a couple years later, and I got that opportunity, and, you know, it's thanks to Oakland. You know, really, they did a great job, you know, getting me ready to get in this position.
And I'm glad you said that because you're an Oakland alum. When did you graduate?
I was actually 2009.
2009. So not too recent, but not too long ago. What are you doing now? I mean, you mentioned in your video you're a dollar store manager.
It is true. I'm a merchandise manager for Dollar Tree, which is kind of cool. People don't realize it's a pretty neat experience. I've always loved working with people, and you know, it's part of the reason why I got my degree in journalism. I just love the interaction of a daily basis. Like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 in an office and just talk to myself all day. Like, I like to talk to people, get to know what's on people's minds, and you know, it's a cool experience, and really I'm thankful for the opportunity.
No, the MLB FanCave thing could actually help you in that regard because if you win, you know, you're going to get some exposure there.
Right, absolutely. And one of the things, like, I told people this before, I sincerely don't care about the money. They could pay me absolutely nothing. They can donate my money all to charity. Like, this is my passion. Like, I grew up as a kid. Like, when I was supposed to be sleeping, I would actually take a radio and take one of the old transistor earbuds, which is only one earpiece, hide it under my pillow, and listen to Ernie Harwell broadcast baseball games at night. So this has always been my passion, to work for Major League Baseball. Like, I don't care about the celebrity. I don't care about the money. I want to work for Major League Baseball. I want to, like, my dream job would be to travel with the Detroit Tigers and just, like, cover them for the news, the free press. Like, that's my dream job. And to get this close to it, that's awesome. Like, I am speechless about this whole process. It's really a dream come true.
It's funny, though, because, I mean, you're going to watch the Tigers anyway, so why not watch them in the FanCave?
Right,
exactly.
Like, the funny thing is I have season tickets, too, and I'm like,
right.
So they actually called me the other day, like, you know, we just make sure everything's good to go with this, letting you know. I'm like, honestly, I hope I don't have to use them. He's like, I don't understand. So I had to kind of explain the whole process, but it's weird, because either way, I'm going to be watching Tigers, I'm going to be representing Detroit, and, you know, it's cool. I mean, if you're going to watch baseball, why not watch it in the FanCave? Like,
exactly.
Share my talents and, I don't know, fanboyism with the world. Like,
so you're decked out in Tigers gear right now. Obviously, you're a huge Tigers fan. When was your first time seeing the Tigers?
Oh, this is
or your first baseball game in general.
You know, this is actually a fun question because I don't know. I have always joked with my parents that they never kept track of it. It started back when I was like in elementary school, so we're talking like early '90s. And my dad, my brother, my great uncle, and myself, we would actually go to it started as a tradition. We'd go to every opening day. My dad would actually have me leave school early, which might be considered bad parenting by some people.
Nope, that's awesome.
But, you know, I'm very thankful for it. But, yeah, they used to, like, so I'm guessing it's probably like 1991, 1992, somewhere in that general range.
So you're still in the old Tiger Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Like, I have memories, like, going to Tiger Stadium where literally there'd only be 5 people in left field stands, and I'd be related to all of them. And if the Tigers had anybody that could hit a home run, it would have been mine. I mean, you know, I grew up with the Tigers when they were losing 100 games a year, still loving them. The fact, like, now that they're actually becoming accomplished and, like, successful, it's even cooler because now my friends are coming up to me, like, asking me baseball questions. They're like, well, what does this mean? What do you think about this? And it's like, finally, I have a purpose for knowing all this information. So it's cool to be able to share that with people finally.
I hope the Lions eventually do that.
Oh, one day we can hope.
I don't. I hope they stay far away.
Oh,
them and the Pistons. There's only 2 Detroit teams that need any recognition from me, and that's the Tigers and the Red Wings.
Well, you forgot the Oakland University basketball team, too, so really 3 teams,
They're
right?
not Detroit. if you want to get into that, it'd be the Spartans and Wolverines.
No, that's true. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so,
I see where you're going.
Yeah. I mean, you can't count college, but you know it. I love the sound of this, you know. I just went to my first Tigers game, actually, back in October. I went to Game 3 of the ALCS.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's cool being a season ticket holder because I got to go to playoff games. And then, you know, just the atmosphere of that place. Like, if you've never gone to a sold-out stadium and seen 50,000 people on their feet screaming, I highly recommend you get the opportunity because if you're a sports fan, there's no comparison to anything else I've ever experienced.
That was a great game, especially for your first Tigers game, your first baseball game.
Yeah,
Major League Baseball.
You were spoiled.
Yeah. See what happened. Topher Nowak. All my listeners know that he's a regular in here. He hasn't been in here in a couple weeks. He came on before you and Tim actually made. Well, I guess you.
Actually.
Yeah. But, you know, Topher's been on a lot. We went to Game 3 of the ALCS, he got tickets. He was trying to take out some girl. She backed out because, you know, she was just an evil one of those. And he's like, dude, you want to go with me? I'm like, Topher, you didn't have to ask.
That's funny. Tim and I, we went to Game 5 of the ALCS.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was, if you remember that series, Detroit went down 3-1. You know, a lot of the people around here, you know, especially with the Tigers, you get a lot of people that get down on them, you know, 3-1, you know, you're thinking, all right, they're done, you know. And so, you know, Tim and I are on StubHub, we're like, it's $10 for tickets.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was insane. And on StubHub, they sold out in 15. In the time it took me to drive from my house to Tim's house, the tickets were gone. It was crazy.
Yeah, Topher got his from StubHub.
Yeah.
I think he paid like $170 for both. They were up in the nosebleeds, but they were not bad seats by any means. I was thinking like in the cartoons, you're gonna need binoculars to see like what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh hell no.
Unlike Tiger Stadium, there's really no bad seats in Comerica Park.
There really isn't.
Like at Tiger Stadium, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they actually had obstructed view seats because of all the
Yeah.
poles they had. Like I remember going to games like as a kid, and it'd say on my ticket like section whatever obstructed view, and I'm like, Dad, what does that mean? He's like, oh, you'll figure it out when you get there. But you know, if you're a baseball fan, you don't care where you're sitting as long as you can know what's going on.
It's the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because a couple weeks after that, I went to Boston with SPB here at OU, and I got to go to Fenway. And you know, my two favorite teams are the Red Sox and the Tigers.
Don't brag to me because that's one of my dream come true. To sit on top of the Green Monster in left
actually,
field.
we got Jordan in here. He's a multimedia guy for the Oakland Post. He's kind of taking pictures, filming, goofing off because I asked him to. You know, thank you for that, by the way, Jordan.
Well done, Jordan.
But you know, I have him in here right now taking pictures because on the Facebook site for the Pit. You know, the Pit Sports Talk with Damien Dennis, WXOU 88.3 FM. You know, gotta throw in the logo in there, the call sign. But you know, I got that on Facebook, which people should follow, by the way. But all the pictures that I have on there, other than like the logo for this show, are all from Fenway. I got a couple the people who I went there with. And me sitting on top of the Green Monster.
I hate you more and more.
Get the Prudential in the background, you know, the Prudential building. So awesome. But, you know, it's like there wasn't a game going on. I've got like one picture from that ALCS game. It's like I need more. I should throw up some of my Oakland hockey pictures, but I don't have any of those yet. But, you know, I got him in here. But my point is they're all baseball pictures on the Facebook page right now.
Well, baseball's all you need.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm more of a football guy, but I love baseball. I just actually got into it about a year and a half ago. I mean, I've always liked it, but as far as watching it, I never cared because I always thought it was long and boring. Then I sat down and watched it, and I fell in love. The same thing has happened recently with soccer,
right?
Which is actually kind of even more boring than football or baseball, but yeah. I mean,
you learn to love it
as
you get older.
But Fenway was a lot of fun.
Well, especially Fenway, you got such a historic stadium, similar to like Tiger Stadium, the value that had. Like all that's happened at Fenway Park, it's really one of the few like real old stadiums. I mean, you got Fenway and Wrigley. Like, you know, they rebuilt New York, the Yankee Stadium. They brought down Tiger Stadium. So to get a chance to see like one of the original showcases of Major League Baseball, a historical value on top of the atmosphere and everything else, I could only imagine. Hopefully soon. You can learn so much from just going there. The tours they give you, it really sucked because I wanted to be there during the game. Would have been so much better if they would have made it to the World Series and stuff. But you know, they had that epic just collapse. Yeah.
But the cool thing was that while we were there, me and George Sugrains, I can't say his last name. His name's actually Jorge. He goes by George. But you know, he went to Boston with me, and we're sitting there watching the World Series in Boston at a bar, and we're like, yeah. He was rooting for the Texas Rangers, whatever they're called.
Texas Rangers.
I don't care.
I got you.
I almost want to call them the Texans. You know, I was thinking
No.
football. But he was rooting for the Rangers. I'm going for the Cardinals, and he was so mad.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it kind of ruined his trip for him. But how do you feel? We're gonna get a little bit back on track.
Let's go. Yeah.
How do you feel about this Prince Fielder thing? We talked about it a couple weeks ago when it came out. But
it's funny because as soon as Victor Martinez went basically down, they said he's out for the year. Like, I called up one of my buddies, and we were both like, what are we going to, like, what are the Tigers going to do? Like, do they just basically, like, sit back this year and just rest on their laurels and just hope that they're going to rebound? And all of a sudden, like, it's funny because how I first found out about it was in my room on my laptop. I pull up MLB Trade Rumors, their website, and it says Tigers agreed to 9-year deal with Prince Fielder. And instinctively, I didn't even believe it. I don't know why, since it's a major media site. So
I did the same thing.
I refreshed the screen to see it again. I went, holy crap. Like, are you serious? I think it's actually a really, like, bold move by Illich. I don't think it's necessarily one that needed to be done. But if you think about it, it allows us to be as competitive as we were last year, if not more. And also looking forward to 2013, where Victor Martinez comes back. We have Miguel Cabrera, you know, Prince Fielder. We have 3 of, like, the top easily 25 hitters in baseball, arguably. And have that in your middle lineup with Justin Verlander leading, like, we're going to be a team to compete with for a long time. And, I mean, the trade-off is, I mean, you have Miguel Cabrera playing third base, which a lot of people are nervous about. But people don't remember, when he came to Detroit, he was a third baseman. So it's not like this is completely foreign to him. And I do believe he's going to have no problem getting back there. I mean, he's not going to win the Gold Glove, I don't think. I mean, if he does, awesome. But you're not going to find a third baseman that's a better hitter than Miguel Cabrera in Major League Baseball. I'm sorry.
You know, I think you've mentioned something really interesting there. You said it was a really bold move by Illich.
Yeah.
Which it was. That's absolutely true. But Illich isn't the GM of the team. He's the owner.
Right. No, it's actually the case because Scott Boras, the agent for Prince Fielder, approached Illich.
And they're good friends.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the contracts, it's almost $500 million in contracts within, like, the last 10 years.
Right, Magglio Ordonez. I can't remember the other ones.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Pudge, yep.
I mean, there's been several that, and even smaller players that we currently have. But it's weird because it's one of the few times where, you know, owners basically become fans. Miguel Cabrera was actually pushed through this with a trade, not the Boras part, but, you know, Illich is such a fan and wants to see the Tigers win more than anything, and he said this many times, that he himself has basically said, we're going to make this happen.
Right.
I mean, he's writing the check, so if he wants it, he got it.
And he wants to go win championships, just like he does with the Red Wings.
Right.
I mean, that's his ownership style.
I mean, that's the coolest thing about being a Detroit sports fan. I mean, we're spoiled with the Red Wings going to the playoffs every year, being competitive every year. And now with the Tigers, I mean, Illich isn't getting any younger. His money isn't going anywhere. Why not? And, you know, people talk about, like, all the great things about Detroit. Like, he's put so much money into trying to give people in Detroit something to celebrate. Like, on the field and even behind the scenes, like, the fountains they have in center field a couple years ago, the Big Three couldn't actually, like, pay for the promotions for it. So he put it up and paid it out of his own pocket.
Exactly.
You don't see many owners in Major League Baseball that are willing to basically take it on the chin and just count it up as a loss.
Yep.
But Illich has done so much for the city of Detroit, and I mean, honestly, we should all be thankful for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. What do you think about the upcoming season? Do you think they're going to be successful?
We better be.
Right.
I mean, you go back a couple years ago, everybody thought we were going to win the World Series, and we fell apart. But
yeah. I think that one of the main things in baseball is you got to have the pitching.
Right.
That's the one thing that worries me about the Tigers.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, look at our rotation. Verlander, obviously, you shouldn't be worried about. Fister, if he can pitch anything like he was the second half when we picked him up after the trade, we're fine with that. Scherzer, when he's on, he could easily be a number 2 in most Major League rotations. You have Rick Porcello. Again, I mean, the guy's, 22 years old, and he's already won, like, 30 games in 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy could quietly win 200 games in his career without anybody even really noticing.
The thing that with him, though, is the consistency.
Absolutely. I mean, but, you know, for number 4 pitcher in your rotation...
He doesn't have to be dominant.
And also think about how little he's actually costing us. It's not like we're paying him $8 million. So relative to what his being paid... I mean, you can't compete with that. And then you have the 5th spot, which remains to be known.
Yep.
I still think they're going to give it to Jacob Turner, even though I would have liked us to sign a free agent just to give Turner a year in Toledo. But, I mean, he's, like, I think the number 15 prospect in all Major League Baseball. Yeah. I mean...
What do you think about... Do you think that they could trade Turner? Do you think they would do that or no?
You're going to have to give them a lot back. I mean,
right, yeah. I just think right now you have that win now mentality.
Right, I mean, there's a lot of prospects that, you know, the whole thing, you know, do you sell the prospects until they become something? Do you sell them before they get their feet wet? And, I mean, I just think if you trade Turner, what are you going to trade him for? Another starting pitcher? And at that point, you're trading to create a hole that you're going to have to fill again.
That's
so
true.
I don't see us trading Jacob Turner for another team's number 3 starting pitcher unless we want to turn our number 5 pitcher into a guy we're paying $7-8 million a year. So, I mean, it's an issue of what do you want to get back. Obviously, there's teams. I think if anything, you're going to see a package deal with Turner possibly.
Right. Yeah.
Where it might be Turner and, you know, a prospect. I don't think they'll touch Castellanos, who's a third base prospect for the Tigers. But maybe, like, you know, I thought there was a chance we might package Turner and, like, Delman Young or something like that and try to get a starting pitcher and maybe a second baseman.
Right.
Because we have, like, 14 outfielders. Not really, but, you know, we have so much depth there. But we still don't have really a strong second baseman. And now Brandon Inge is being added to that mix possibly. And our leadoff hitter is Austin Jackson, who is not your typical leadoff hitter.
He strikes out too much to be a leadoff
right.
hitter.
I mean, you know, and then you don't get the stolen bases factor from him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think you'll see an improvement over last year. but I like Austin Jackson more as like a number 9 hitter where you have that spark at the bottom of the lineup.
Yep.
Or you drop him down to like the 8 hole and hit him more power, or you put him in the 2 hole, give him a chance to advance runners. But I thought the Tigers might try to dabble their feet in that, but it's a tricky situation when you're trading one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball who's unproven to teams. And, it's an issue of balancing the budget book, too. You don't want to trade Turner for somebody that's going to cost us an extra $15 million a year.
Right. You mentioned Brandon Inge, and you mentioned the number 9 spot. If you have Austin Jackson, like you said, he's a better 9 hitter than he's a 1 hitter because of the strikeouts.
Right.
But when you have Brandon Inge on the team,
well, the thing
the
right
9
now is
spot,
we don't even know if Brandon Inge is going to be playing this year.
Right.
I think if anything, he's going to turn into a super utility player where he's playing everywhere
at $5.5 million a year.
Well, we're paying him the money even if we release him.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
If you trade him, I don't think. Tigers had to trade Nate Roberts in the final year of his contract year for $10 million, and we got Voss was his last name. So it's an issue of you keep him, you play him, or do you cut him loose? I love the fact. I want somebody on my team who's willing to fight. Like, he was upset he didn't have a third base. He says, I'm going to earn it. Like, you need players on your team that have that fire in the belly that says, I'm going to get this. I don't deserve it, but I'm going to work hard and prove that I deserve it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So you're a pretty knowledgeable guy here. I'm loving this back and forth between you two because I'm still in football mode, so I haven't gotten into baseball.
We'll give you the transition easier for you.
But I'm sitting here thinking to myself that I think once baseball season starts, because we got spring training starting the 25th, I think.
Yeah, actually, it's before that, actually. Well, pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, pitchers are going on the 19th.
Because actually, I'm flying out. I'm supposed to be flying out to Florida on the 21st of February, so I'm actually going to hit up Lakeland, where the Tigers are in spring training, on the way from the airport. So
nice.
Yeah, I'll be there probably.
That would actually be something cool. Just a couple of weeks ago, the weekend before the Super Bowl, Tim actually went to Indianapolis. If you want to give us a call from down there.
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to give you guys a scoop of what's looking like down there.
We'll talk about that here, like during break. But, I just love this back and forth right now. Like, I don't even have words for it. I haven't been paying that much attention to trading and all that, which is really bad on my part. Not because I'm a sports guy, but mostly because I go to church with Dombrowski. So you would think I'd know a little bit more, but yeah.
There's a lot of things going on to pay attention to. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. But I kind of went away from it. I had this picture that I want to send us out on into break with. Let me find it again real quick. But I'm thinking once baseball season gets started, we'd like to have you back.
Hey, absolutely. I'd be honored to. Even if I got a call in from New York,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
more than honored to
Keep
in touch with you guys. Yeah, fingers crossed, guys.
So this is what we're going to end this segment with. First of all, thank you for coming out, Brad.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun. You can go to MLBFancave.com, look for Brad Jeffers' video. It's got a Star Wars scroll as like the thumbnail. Just look for that. Vote for him. He'd appreciate it. We'd appreciate it. The Pit Sports Talk's endorsing you right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
We're gonna get you a winning.
We're gonna represent the D in New York.
That's right. The D and OU.
But
right.
I'm gonna go back to the Red Sox real quick.
Absolutely.
A buddy from the Oakland Post, Justin Coleman, just posted this on Facebook. It says baseball is coming back. You know what that means, right? And it's a picture of Lackey, Lester, and Beckett.
Yeah, Josh Beckett would be there.
Yeah.
Who will tentatively be pitching opening day?
It's got a caption on the picture. It's like a meme, and it says, "They're coming for your fried chicken and your beer."
Yeah, if any of that happens, you're not going to hear about it ever again. But yeah, that was embarrassing for the Red Sox organization, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, especially I don't even want to talk about that.
That's a whole nother segment we're going to have to talk about.
Yeah,
we already went through about 6 issues in like 10 minutes.
Right?
Yeah, we did. So thank you for coming on. We're going to go to break. You're listening to the Pit Sports Talk here on 88.3 WXOU Auburn Hills. We'll be back with Oakland hockey. Timothy Pontzer's out there. He's about to come back in. Look at him out there sporting his Pittsburgh Penguins jersey. Yeah, I agree, Brad. Just wave him off. So we'll be back here in a couple minutes after the break. Oakland hockey, we got Carmen Hayes coming up in about half an hour.